but they're so cute, but they're so cute with the little hands and the little hands. Something. Oh, okay. Do people do that? Ew, ew, ew. Irish people don't do it so much. Spanish people do, you just don't do, that's just common sense, right? In any country. So today I want to check out a talking point over on Reddit that is called, if visiting America, what is something that a person should never do? If you've never seen me before in your life, my name is Diane. Sometimes I live in Ireland, sometimes I live in Spain. I'm from Ireland and I like to visit America, and maybe Canada. Around here we like to keep things weird and talk about the more quirky, unusual things, not the things that everybody talks about.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, or your face will fall off. She forgot to do it, so.
Okay, the first thing somebody says is don't get into an empty subway car. I'm gonna guess that's in New York. That is literally the first thing I would do, get into an empty subway car. I hate people. I like people I know, but I don't like people I don't like strangers.
Stranger danger!
So if I saw a subway car that's pretty empty, I'm probably gonna go in that one because, yay, no people. Why shouldn't you go in the empty one? There will be a reason it's empty. Likely someone okay. Likely somebody did something on the floor or threw up or something. Oh, okay. Do people do that? Ew, ew, ew. I feel like I might still take my chances though. I really don't like people I don't know. Next we have don't think the laws are the same everywhere. That is a tricky one as a person from Europe. It is really hard to get your head around every state having different laws. Is there federal law? I think there is federal law. So some laws are the same throughout the United States of America, correct? But then there are state laws also. What are the laws that are federal and what are the laws that are state? I'm thinking like federal laws.
That would be an ecumenical matter. Yes, I suppose it would.
And excuse me for dipping into my Irish Catholicism here, but are they like, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not, but you can covet thy neighbor's wife. That's not illegal. It should be illegal, I feel.
I say a plague on both their houses.
What laws are state and what laws are, am I using the right term? Federal. What are they? Next up, if pulled over by cops, do not exit the vehicle unless they ask you to. Okay, I have learned through media that you really do have to be careful about doing all the right things around cops. In Ireland, we have the Garda Síochána. They're generally quite friendly people, but I do think in recent years, they may need to bring some intimidation tactics in. A lot of the youths are taking the piss out of the Gardaí. They are just not afraid. And also that we recently brought in these new uniforms for the Gardaí and they are laughable. Irish guards generally do a pretty good job of de-escalating situations. I largely applaud them, but I do think a little touch of intimidation would be good, especially for young people. In contrast, here in Spain is the Guardia Civil, and they are terrifying. I was about to say costumes, their uniforms are freaking awesome. They look very, very cool. And you do get the feeling if you did something terrible, they would take you into a cell and...
Very bad. Very, very, very bad. Bad.
That's a good one. If pulled over by cops, do not exit the vehicle until they ask you to. Also, I've heard 10 and 2 is a thing. As a non-driver, it's 10 and 2, right? 10 and 2. That's like pretty much a thing everywhere. Keep your hands on the dashboard. Although in Ireland, yeah, it would be very much like, oh, hey, I know your dad. Ireland is super small, so yeah. Do not piss off the customs officer. That's just good general advice. I think a lot of people in the past may have been more jovial. That is not the place to have a funny sense of humor. You don't do it with customs officers. Don't joke about having a in your suitcase or anything. You just don't do, that's just common sense, right? In any country. When I do go through customs in the United States, it can be quite an intimidating thing. Like they are so trying to trip you up. In contrast to customs officers in Ireland, there's a very famous thing in Ireland that when you go back into Ireland, they will look at your passport and go, welcome home, Diane. Like, that's so nice. Do not attempt to bribe a police officer. It's common in some countries, but will land you in a world of shiz here. Yeah, I definitely think that's not something, you shouldn't try and bribe somebody unless you really know the lay of the land, right? When I was coming out of Tijuana, Mexico, we had to give somebody $20 to skip up the queue, because the queue was like hours and hours and hours long. And I think it was a police officer in Mexico who came down to us in the queue and asked for like money to skip us to the top. We just weren't going to argue with a police officer, you know? I don't know if what I did was completely illegal, but I hadn't even started college, so I was a kid, you know? Don't stare and eyeball people unless you are doing some kind of official business like buying something. Interesting. Okay, I have noticed certain Europeans do stare. It's specific to countries. Irish people don't do it so much. Spanish people do stare. Italian people stare. German people stare. But American people very much value their personal space, and anything that's like super tactile with a person you don't know in America is kind of frowned upon. They will talk you to death in America, which is, I think, a lovely trait. I love that American people like just talk to complete strangers. I think it's really nice, but they don't like to be just randomly touched or gone into their personal space, which I respect, because I'm not a fan of humans. Don't cut in line. We hate that. Okay, that is also very interesting. A personal pet peeve of mine is people side queuing. People, when you're in a queue, in a line, everyone knows a line is like one person behind the other. If somebody comes up and stands beside me, that is the most annoying thing. And then I will shuffle forward and they will shuffle forward with me. No, we are in a queue. Here in Spain, and I believe in Italy, queues are less of a thing. Now, don't take it extreme. If you go to the supermarket, there are queues. People generally respect the queues. But if you're in something like a market, it's very much like whoever gets seen gets served. Same thing in a bar. You've got to be seen. The queue is not a thing. Don't forget to put eggs and milk in the fridge. Ooh, yeah. I personally store my eggs and milk in the fridge. Actually, everyone stores milk in the fridge. We all store milk in the fridge in Europe, unless it's UHT milk. But eggs, you don't have to store in the fridge because they're pasteurized differently or something. But yeah, that's a good point, not to remember to put them in the fridge. And finally, raccoons are cute, but from a distance. I only recently discovered that we don't have raccoons throughout Europe. And it had occurred to me, I've seen so many memes of raccoons. They're so freaking cute. Why have I never seen one? Why do I not have a trash panda? Apparently, they're like super not desired here in Europe. But they're so cute with the little hands and the little hands. They're like Chewie, but with little hands. Why are they cute from a distance? I'm gonna guess, is this because they like cause dirt and chaos in general? But so cute. That was super interesting. I particularly enjoy the things I have never come across before. That's always my favorite kind of stuff. Let me know below in comments if you think there's something that I, as a tourist, would not necessarily be familiar with unless I knew America very well. Shout out today to a couple of very special people.
The first shout out goes to Ricky, who is looking very slicky in his cap. I don't know why I'm so lame, sorry. He says his shout out this month goes to all of my Patreon supporters who make it possible for me to make content for all to enjoy on YouTube. Ricky says everyone can do their part by liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications for future videos. Did I tell you guys you're the best managers and PR people ever? Thank you so much, Ricky. Our second shout out comes from Eric, who wants to shout out a fellow creative called Frank Suchamal. He says Frank devoted his life to encouraging, creating, and sharing. He made a commitment that musical, theatrical, and artistic creativity should be shared freely with the community. Frank's vision was that the arts are for everyone. In his name, visual art is created and performed locally in central Vermont. If you're interested in these free performances, a link with all of the details to the YouTube channel where all of the information can be found is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you so much, guys. That's it for today. See you on the other side. Bye. Hey, some people were saying it looks like you're in prison. Are you in prison? Yeah, he can get out. See? If you've never seen me before in your life, I'm okay. It's just a thing. Imagine if you had little hands. You'd be a trash panda. Because you're the right color. You're the